How are you guys? What's up? For today's video, I wanted to go through my eyeshadow palette drawer and do a pretty large declutter. I feel like this past year, I really just haven't worn a ton of these eyeshadow palettes. They're just kind of sitting in here. And I feel like I kind of want to give them a better home. Probably will be posting some of these on Poshmark, the ones I declutter. So if you guys want to, get anything for yourselves, I'll have my Poshmark link down below. I am proud of myself though, because I feel like I had 3 of these huge chunky drawers at some point, but now I really only have 1. I mean, it's like kind of like stuffed, but still, I mean, it's a pretty big deal for me. Moving to this section, I know I need to clean up my life. It is so messy here. I have 2 eyeshadow palettes here, which I haven't opened up yet, so these are still like in the process of me kind of like testing out, so I'm just gonna leave them there. And then I also have these Natasha Denona 5-pan palettes, which I actually really love. There are a few that I'm not really that into, but I'm not ready to part ways with these little ones just yet. I'm actually really excited for this declutter because I'm in a very declutter-y type of mood. I'm at a point in my life where obviously I love eyeshadow palettes, I love makeup, the whole shebang, but I really just wanna, keep what I actually use and, have a few extra ones here and there, but I just don't want it to just constantly be taking up space, and really just I want to get rid of items that I just feel like are sitting here and doing nada. First up, we're going to be speaking about the Huda Beauty Nude Rich Eyeshadow Palette. This is a gorgeous one if you're just like into like those neutral, deeper burgundy brownish tones. I love that there are mattes and metallics in here, pretty easy to work with. I also like that it's really small. I have a few other palettes that have somewhat of a similar color story, so I think I'm actually going to declutter this one, which I feel like might be shocking to some of you guys, but I'm also going to try to actually not keep a lot of similar color stories, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to say goodbye to this one. I also have these by Liora.y. So I think that these trio palettes by them are the cutest. Again, small, compact, easy to travel with. I think I have one. Whoa, the baby's sleeping, so we're gonna try to like, you know what I mean? Okay, so I actually can't find the other one at the moment. It might still be in this drawer, or maybe I misplaced it. So first up, I have this one in Mesa. And the reason why I love these is because there's, like I said, small and compact and easy to use, and I like that they're like monochromatic. I've used this one a handful of times. The quality is amazing. I just feel like between this and this shade there really isn't much of a differentiation, and a lot of times when I wear this, like the look obviously comes out the same. There really isn't much diversity with this. I would have really loved if they would have maybe put like a slightly deeper brown in the same color family. This would be like ice. That would be an icing on the cake. I would totally keep it, but I just feel like I do love to switch up my looks, even if I'm using a few similar palettes. You know what I mean? So I want to know that one palette can actually give me at least 2 different looks, Also, I will say that I have a lot of those similar tones in the Persona copper palette, the Color Theory copper palette, which I love. And this I've had for a while, but I feel like it just hits home because like you see it has like the copper tone, that like orange, the brown. See, it's not such a deep brown, but it still adds something. This and then this shade. So I think this is fantastic. It's been in my collection for a while and it's definitely not getting rid of it, but I will say goodbye to the Mesa Glossier. And then I have this palette here by Liora.y as well in, I think it's called Rosin. I thought that this was gorgeous. These nails are just not like, it's so hard for me to use my hands. Anyways, I really love that this one has like those yellowy tones. Again, I don't feel like I could do a lot with this one, especially since this one is such a light shade. And because I have, one second here, this palette here by Urban Decay, the Naked Honey, I feel like I really just have those tones in here. Like these 2 shades, I feel like are pretty similar to those. I don't know. I wanted to collect all these little ones by Liora.y, and there might be other trios I would prefer in their line. I'm thinking actually I think you can kind of like pop these out too, but whatever. Anyways, so I'm gonna declutter this one as well. Give it a better home. This is so pretty though. I will keep this Honey palette by Urban Decay. Next, I have the Frosted Strawberry palette by Too Faced. It's from their new Pop-Tarts collection. So you saw I had one in the drawer up there, but I've been using this one. I did purchase it not too long ago, and You know what, for me, it's just really nothing special. I know a lot of you guys are on that same bandwagon. Just found that I wasn't able to do a lot with this one. Like these two kind of show up on the lid, but not so much. These three actually, this one, I don't get use out of that shade. I do like these three colors. I think I still might end up keeping it because it is fairly new. The quality is like nice. It's not like anything too special, but it's not, doesn't suck. So I'm gonna keep it for now because I just purchased it and it would be almost like wasteful to just get rid of it. But I feel like if it's not gonna wow me the next little bit, I might end up decluttering it. But for now, we're keeping her. Next, I have a Pomegranate palette here. This is the Divine Rose one. Gorgeous color, gorgeous color story. And a lot of times when I wear this one, a lot of you guys always compliment me. I think that these tones really just suit me well. I just do not reach for this one, and I feel like it's just so wasteful sitting in here. There's another Pomegranate palette that I love and I probably would never get rid of. But this one, I also kind of feel like it takes me a bit of time to actually come up with a look using this because I have to like sit there and think. And also because the shades are so pigmented, you really do have to, like, a little bit goes a very long way. And sometimes I'm noticing that I'm just sitting there and trying to blend and blend and blend. And, you know, lately, now more than ever, I just don't really want to be doing too much blending. I wanted to kind of pop it on, 1, 2, 3, and then kind of go. So I think I'm going to declutter this one. There are some really pretty, like, glittery tones in here. Like, this one is really, really nice. But I feel like there are other shades in my collection that I feel like could give me a similar look in a way. And then I have the other Pomegranate palette that I'm gonna for sure keep. So I'm gonna say goodbye to this one. This palette is the one I'm for sure keeping. I already know this is called the Utopian Dreams. This is like my favorite from her line. I don't own a lot of her palettes. I don't jump on every single release, but this one I just am obsessed with since it came out. I think the color story is divine. You get gorgeous tones in here. This one I feel like is kind of similar to the one I swatched before. This color is everything to me. I love this on the lid. And even though this is like these are like deeper tones, I feel like I can kind of like get away with putting this in the crease and then building these up, and it doesn't take me as long as it does with the other palette, you know? So I love this baby so much, and yeah, I feel like I would never ever get rid of it. Keeping it, I love. Next, I have the NYX Ultimate Queen palette, which I actually really like. I think it was limited edition, so I don't know if it's available anymore, but it's just a traditional, regular, like, I would say more neutral warm tone palette. I love this shade and this shade. Like, these are my favorites ever. And then this really nice metallic shades in here as well. Oh my gosh, I thought I saw a bug. I think I'm gonna get rid of this though, even though it is small, compact. I can get a lot of use out of this one, and there is a lot of diversity, even though it's all in the same kind of color family. I have other palettes that kind of also fall into the same category, so I will declutter this one. However, I think it's a pretty good quality palette, and if you were contemplating, it's one of their better ones, I would say. We're on a roll. Here, let's talk about this one. This is the ABH Cosmos palette, one of the newer palettes to my collection. Here is what this one looks like. A lot of you guys told me that your blue shade also came shattered, which is kind of unfortunate, but I like this palette a lot. I like that it has like the traditional, you know, like matte, warmer type of shades, and then like this deeper matte brown here too. But like the metallics are like, they're like leveled up, you know? So even though you could go more neutral with this one and go for more of like a regular look, I feel like you can spice things up with these shades here. So I just love the diversity with this one, and the metallics here are super nice, very smooth and soft, and they really like amp up a look. So for sure keeping this. I love it. Okay, next we have the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. This has been a love of mine for quite some time. I want to say, yikes, shh, Liora. But I found that just in the past like 6 months, I just really have not reached for this. Looking at this now, when I got this, I didn't have, I feel like, much of these kind of shades. Again, I love these type of colors and then these type of shades, so I really just mostly use those two. This green is so pretty, like paired with, you know, the other mattes in here as well. But now that I have other palettes in my collection, it isn't one that I necessarily reach for. So I think I'm gonna say goodbye to this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna say goodbye. Or will I be sorry? No, I think it's fine. I'll say goodbye. Next, we have the ColourPop Troublemaker palette. I'm trying to keep like one of every type of palette in my collection. So like this one, for example, I just don't have a lot of these type of shades, and I just think that this is great because you have lots of like grungy tones. I have a few other cool tone palettes, but this is like, it's pretty different, you know, because you have like your purples, these like gray colors. The mattes are not the easiest to work with because they're more cool tone and they seem a bit drier, but I mean, it's still not a hard palette to work with, and the metallics are gorgeous in here, so I'm gonna keep this one. Next, I have the Norvina ABH eyeshadow palette. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you know that I really love this, and you can see that I have like a dip over there, and with a lot of the other shades here, I use this a lot, more than I expected. This one right here is almost about to hit pan. I don't know if this is available anymore. I feel like I keep checking Sephora and it's just not there at all times, but it's one that is tried and true in my collection, and I feel like when I do makeup on others, a lot of the times I will pull this one out. It's just pretty universal. You have a lot of the shades in here that work well for many skin tones, eye colors, and very, very easy formula to work with. So I love it. I get a lot of use out of it, honestly. It's really just mostly everything I want in one, so I'm keeping her. Next, I have these two palettes here by ColourPop. So Cabana Club, I do like. It takes me a minute to kind of figure out what type of look I want to go for with this, but I do like that there are neutral shades in here, so I can kind of pair it with a pop of something. I mainly love it for this cobalt blue. It takes a little bit to blend out, but it's such a good color, and I literally have nothing like this in my collection, so I think I'm going to keep this one. It's so pretty. I mean, come on. Seriously, such a good color. It does kind of stain a little bit though, but I think this is actually one of their most unique palettes, so keeping that. I think I'm gonna get rid of the Barbie palette though. I know like the whole rage right now is Barbie, but yeah, I'm just kind of ready to say goodbye to this. I really don't use it a lot, and I am a Barbie fan. I love Barbie growing up, but I just don't use this one. And comparing both, let's see. Like, let's say this blue shade is kind of similar to this one. We got like a yellow, and then like a yellow here too. I guess for me, I just feel like I would use, and I do use this one more than I use this one. So yeah, I'm gonna part ways with the Barbie and keep the Cabana Club. The next palette I have here is this one. This is the Tinkerbell one. This is probably one I would never get rid of. This is probably the best ColourPop palette I've ever tried in my entire existence. It's beyond smooth. The shades in here are stunning. You can do so much with this, and every time I use this, I'm like, wow, like I'm just obsessed with the way I look. Like, it's so beautiful. It makes me so happy to use. Plus, I mean, who doesn't love Peter Pan? So, keeping it. Next, I have the Melt Cosmetics Bad Side Water Zodiac palette. So this is if you're a Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. I'm a Scorpio, so this is me. This is she. I found that I'm not fully obsessed with the color story of this one. I don't really use blues as much as I would like. I do have that cobalt blue in the other palette, so I can kind of mix that with other shades, but using this exclusively on its own, I just never fell in love with any of the looks I came up with. And I feel like with Melt Cosmetics too, I think these might be on sale, or they were for a very long time. Melt Cosmetics is very hit or miss, you know, and I feel like this one was more of a kind of a miss. I don't know, I would love to see a little bit more like smoothness with their shadows. A lot of their mattes are very, very dry. They're very pigmented and dry, so that combination just is really hard to work with. And the metallics, I just feel like are a lot of the times a little bit more thicker for my liking, and it's just not as of a breeze to apply. So I'm gonna declutter this one, even though I am a water sign and it kind of hits home, but I think I'm ready to part ways. I think I'm also going to declutter the Disco Diva palette by the Sephora Collection brand. I want to say their palettes are actually really nice quality for the most part. Like most of their palettes that I've tried, I really liked. And when I use it, I just feel like a lot of the looks kind of come out the same, even though you have different shades here. It just doesn't look as different on the eyes, and then these two look, yeah, pretty similar. Also, a lot of the times, this is just personal preference, I like to build up the crease, but I like to wear something maybe a little bit lighter on the lids. So like these two, when you wear them, you can't even really tell like you're wearing a matte and a metallic, you know, and I would like to see like a differentiation between both. So, and then this one is not as metallic-y as I would like. It's like a hybrid between a satin / metallic, so it doesn't have that like that like depth to it, that like shininess to it that I look for in a metallic. So they are soft, they're smooth. If this is your color story, then I think the quality is great. I just don't love it on my eyes necessarily. So I'm gonna declutter. Okay, next I have these two palettes here by Too Faced. So this is the Too Femme palette. I thought I would get more use out of this one than I actually did, but I just noticed that I don't reach for it as much as I would like. I think the quality is pretty nice. I know there have been a lot of negative reviews on this one. I think the mattes blend out really nice, very smoothly. This and this shade and this one is pretty much like what I go for. The metallics are great too. This one is the only one that is a little bit on the chunkier side, but I mean, overall I think it's nice. I will declutter it because I don't reach for it, but I won't say that the quality sucks. So I'm gonna part ways because I really want to be firm with myself and really just keep what I'm using. I still think it's adorable, and hopefully, you know, I can send it off to a better home. I also have the Teddy Bear palette. This is gonna be a little bit hard for me to declutter because I think it's like 10 times cuter than the other one because of the teddy bear. I call my son Teddy Bear too, so it's like, you know, kind of hits home. And I know I have a lot of colors similar to this one, like color stories to this palette. So that's why I'm like debating too. I think I'll keep it though because it's a good neutral, you know? I don't want to only have one neutral palette, but I don't want to have 55 either. So this will be one that I will end up keeping. I actually think I decluttered so far 10 and I kept 10. So, I mean, not too bad. Okay, not too bad. Okay, next we have the Too Faced The Natural Nudes palette. Fantastic. I think I got rid of the other one. I think, yeah. Yes, so they had like the other version of this that I decluttered because I found that I wasn't using that one and I preferred this one. And yeah, I do. This is amazing. It's kind of like the Teddy Bear palette, but this is like leveled up in a way. Like I find that the shades in here are a little bit more pigmented, easier to work with. I still find that I could create looks that are significantly different, that it looks like, okay, wow, like my look is slightly different today, so it doesn't look like it's the same thing every time. Mainly because the metallics do pull differently on the eye depending on what you use in the crease. And even if you use the same shades in the crease, like the metallics are significantly different, so it looks really good on the eyes. And I like how each one has like a matte and metallic to it. I think this is such a good one. Also one that I feel like I would always keep in my collection. So yeah, we have two color stories that are kind of the same. So here you guys can see. So I'm gonna keep this and Teddy. All right, what are we decluttering here? This actually might be one that I'm gonna declutter. I thought I would use it, but I actually did not. And this is in Chill Happy, cute packaging. I mean, come on. But I just find that the shades in here are so like dry in a sense. I don't really know what to do with these colors. I thought I would know, but I actually do not. And I don't necessarily always need a matte brown. It's totally fine if I don't have that, but there isn't like much contrast between these shades and then these shades, especially with this metallic purple. I just wouldn't know really how to use it. I wouldn't use it all over my eyes. It kind of looks like someone punched me in the face when I do. And so I would have loved like a deeper, maybe like a purpley eggplant shade, or even like this. If this would be matte, oh my gosh. If this shade would be a matte and then they would keep this palette the way it is, this would be beautiful on, and it would be so easy for me to create looks, but it's just not the case. So I'm gonna declutter this one. I'm also gonna declutter this by Physicians Formula. This is the Matte Manoy Butter Palette. It is nice. I mean, the mattes, yeah, like it's pretty smooth. Yeah. Am I decluttering this? Like, what's my life about? It actually feels insanely good. I forgot how good this was, but you could see there isn't much diversity with this. A lot of these shades end up looking the same on the lids, and this one, I really don't like the shade. It's like a dirty color on me. You know how I always say, oh, this shade looks dirty? So this is like one of those, that's a good example of dirty on me. But this shade is really good. Like, it's a really pretty one. I think I'm gonna give this one a chance, see if I actually use it. The quality is great, I just don't really reach for it as much, but we'll keep it, we'll see. Maybe I can use it in combination with other palettes, which I typically don't do, but it's a really nice one. It's very smooth. For drugstore, it's amazing. Okay, next we have this palette here. This is supposed to be a dupe for the, I think, Soft Glam palette by ABH. Yeah, it's brand new. I didn't even open it. I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased it. Okay, just gonna say it. I'm just probably not gonna use it. I think I'm kind of over this color story. I have other neutrals that I prefer. So I think I'm gonna declutter. Brand new, declutter that one. I have these two palettes here by Patrick, keeping both. This is the original Major Dimension. This is like my go-to neutral palette. So if I had to choose one, this is what it would be. I always use this one, keeping it for sure. And then this one, also so pretty. This is the Major Dimension 2. I do like this one a drop more than the previous one because it pulls a little bit more slightly like rosy-ish, but not in an overdone way. Like when it's overdone, I'm not that into rosy shades, but this looks insanely good on the eyes. Like it looks next level. So with this one, you do get the metallic type of shades on top, and then mattes on bottom, and then the two cream shades. So I'm keeping this. Next, I have this palette here by Ciate London. It doesn't really say what it's called, but like it's part of like the Happy collection. I feel like a lot of brands are collaborating with Happy, Smiley, whatever this brand is called. It's really pretty. I don't even think that I use this on the eyes though, but I remember swatching it. So nice, very smooth. You get 3 mattes and then 3 metallics. It's kind of like a generic color story. The quality is fantastic, but I think I'm gonna end up parting ways with this one, and yeah, I think I'm gonna declutter. Cuteness, but I'm just gonna be realistic here. Okay, I also have these two palettes here by Mel Cosmetics. These are definitely one of their better palettes. One of their better palettes, I guess. Well, it's 2, so I really like them. Just want to see. This is like the perfect full palette, the Rust. Very pigmented, like insanely. So a literal, like a dot goes a very long way. This yellow paired with these browns, it's like leaves. It's like the epitome of a leaf. Fall is like one of my favorite seasons. If not my favorite, my birthday is in fall, 2 days before Halloween. So just this vibe hits home for me. So I'm obsessed with this. Very pretty keeping. And then I have the Gemini 2 palette here. I did have the original Gemini, but I decluttered that one in my last declutter video. This one I prefer more. I just wish it had more metallic shades, but still, because it has these amazing tones, I think I'm still gonna end up keeping it. If you wanna do like a full matte look, these 5 shades, build that up in the crease, it looks so freaking good. So yeah, I feel like I kinda use 5, and I don't use these 5 as much. I'm challenging myself to pull this out more when fall begins. Use it as much as I could, and if I see that I'm not really using it as much as I would like, I will end up decluttering it at some point. Okay, next up I have this Denisa Myricks palette. This is the Lightwork Volume 3 palette. This is the coolest thing ever. I actually don't own anything like this, so I'm totally gonna keep it. Each of these shades have like the coolest shift. I love like doing a wing liner and then just putting this, like dotting it on the wing eyeliner. It creates the coolest like transformational effect. I mean, for example, like look at this. It's like a yellow-green situation. I don't know if you could see that. I love this shade Galaxy. It's like a purple blue almost. It's so nice, and they're so buttery soft. And I don't own anything else from Denisa Myricks, I don't think, when it comes to palettes. And I would love to have at least one thing from her collection. I just think this is great, so obsessed with this, keeping it. Next up, I have these by Flower Beauty. Great quality, very pigmented, very like high-end-esque. So this is the Jungle Lights palette. I'm gonna declutter this one. I think that they're great, like I said, great quality, but I just never use these shades like ever, and if I do, it's once in like a blue moon. So I'm gonna say goodbye to Jungle Lights. However, Desert Lights is really where it's at for me. I love this. I have like a lot of neutral palettes, you guys know, and I typically like to use one. I don't usually mix and match, but this would be an excellent mixing and matching palette. I also like to wear these on their own. Very pretty, very like foil like on the eyes, and they look hot on, honestly. It's very pretty. Goes well with brown eyes. I have brown eyes, so that's what I know, but I'm sure it could work out for any eye color. So good keeping. I do also have these palettes here by Natasha Denona. So I have the Glam Face palettes. This is the dark version, this is the light version. I personally prefer the dark version more. I just think that these shadows just complement my skin tone and my eyes more than the other one. I will say the face I guess, cream to powder products are slightly dark for me. This could work for me. I just have to go lightly with that, and then the highlighter is a little bit too dark, but it's a good one if I'm self-tanned. I like that you get everything in one, so I'm keeping this one. The light one though, I think I'm gonna declutter. It's pretty, it, you know, works nicely, but I just, again, I don't want to just keep to keep, and I do use the dark version a bit more. I think that these are great shades, but I like the other one much more than this one. And then honestly, when it comes to these, like the face products, they're not as different on the cheeks than the previous one. I feel like they're in the same color family, so I still have to kind of go light-handed, even though this is more for lighter skin tones. It's still not, you know, doesn't work out perfectly for me. So anyways, I'm gonna declutter this one. Next, I have the Cinnamon Swirl. Yeah, Cinnamon Swirl eyeshadow palette by Too Faced. I think I'm gonna part ways with this one. I'm just kind of over these palettes, to be honest with you guys. I used to purchase every single one every holiday season. They usually come out with these around like the end of August. I think this time around it's maple syrup. You're basically getting the same shades. I feel like at this point a lot of us know that. And if you're a collector, then you're probably gonna get it. I probably will end up skipping out on that one unless you guys want to see a review on it. So I will pick it up, but I don't know. We'll see. You have to let me know. But yeah, I'm gonna declutter this. It's just, you know, a typical just pumpkin-y type of palette, and it smells good, but I think I'm gonna say goodbye. I have a bunch of these, yikes, Natasha Denona palettes here that I wasn't gonna declutter, but I think I'm gonna end up decluttering some. You know, I'm obsessed with Natasha Denona. Love her palettes, love her work, but I really just want to get rid of what I'm not using. This is the Retro Glam palette. This one I'm gonna definitely say goodbye to. I thought I would love it more than I do. With these kind of shades, to not have one deep brown, matte deep brown, blows my mind. Like this shade and this shade, I feel like you did not need both, personally. This one and this one kind of also. So for that reason, I just don't really use this. Yes, I can mix and match, but as a standalone palette, that's what I look for a lot, and I feel like this really doesn't have it. So declutter this. Next we have the Natasha Denona pastel palette. I just, like I told you before, I like to keep one palette from every like color family in a way, but I don't use this at all. Pastels, I just feel like were never my thing. I feel like they're hard to make, they're hard to work with. You can't really tell it's on the eye really, and I'll be honest, it wasn't a look that I created with this and I was like, wow, nice. I don't think it's for me. Unless I find one that's like insanely pigmented and not as like chalky-ish. I feel like this is a little bit chalky in a sense. And then the shades, I just don't see them going together. So I wanted to keep this because I need it for the collector in me. But realistically, I don't use it ever. I don't like it at all. Okay, next palette I have here is the Bronze palette by Natasha Denona. Here you guys can see it is pretty well loved. I love this brown here. You get just these gorgeous bronzy tones, easy to work with, stunning on. And even though it's like more warmer, and I feel like I have other palettes that are kind of similar-ish, I feel like this is more like bronzy. The other ones are not as bronzy as this one. So really, really like it. Haven't busted it out in a while, so now that I'm getting rid of some, I feel like I'll have more like breathable space for everything else. Love this, keeping. The next palette I have here is the Sunrise. This I'm gonna declutter. I'll be honest, I actually never liked it. I bought it originally because I thought I would, you know, enjoy it, use it a bit, and then I'm like, I'm just not really feeling it. The quality is just not the same as her other palettes. This is one of her first palettes she released, and I feel like she definitely got better with the quality, like with the consistency of the shadows and the blendability and smoothness of the shadows. So I'm gonna declutter this one finally. Like, I wanted to keep it because I wanted to have the full collection of her stuff, but I need to say goodbye. Another palette that I am gonna declutter, which is probably gonna be so shocking to you guys. Also just another one that I just could not get down with. Ironically, I love the Love, this is called the Love palette, but I love the Love 5-pan palette. She has 2 of them. Those are like my ultimate favorite palettes. I use them all of the time. But when she came out with this like bigger one, it just didn't hit home for me. I'm not really sure why. I'm not sure if it's just the color story, the way they like work with each other. But yeah, I mean, I just thought it was so weird because I thought I would be obsessed, but I I'm not. I prefer her smaller 5 pan Love palettes as opposed to this one. They just work, they look better on me personally, I think. So I'm gonna declutter. I think this might have been even limited edition. So it's just so crazy because I never thought I would say goodbye to these, but it just has to happen. Okay, this I'm keeping for sure. This is the Glam palette. So this is more of like the cool tone palette. I love this one. I don't have much like this in my collection. Stunning tones. I've worn this many times for like just events here and there, or like to like my cousin's wedding. I think I wore it. Great colors, smooth. You get your browns, silver, gray shades. It looks so beautiful on the eyes. I get so many compliments with this one. It really is like a step above, so keeping for sure. Okay, next I have the Retro palette. I don't know, with this one I'm kind of in the middle with. I like it, but I'm not fully invested and obsessed. Like some of the looks I come up with using this, I think just look fantastic, but then with other looks I'm like, you know, not really feeling this. So I think I'm gonna declutter it, which is like so, again, just so crazy for me to say. This shade and this shade is also so similar, which I feel like she could have just maybe added something else. And then this one and this one, they have very like slight different undertones to them, but also they look kind of similar on the eyes. I'm gonna have to declutter. It's like, what? Right, next we have the Zendo palette. For this one, I'm also gonna declutter. I did actually really like this one for a decent amount of time. You can kind of have like two families here, but I feel like I already have a lot of these tones already with the palettes-ish that I kept from her. And then like these bluer shades. I mean, I feel like I have like similar blue shades. This green is actually stunning. It's like a army forest green, which is so beautiful. I love that. The shade I didn't use too much. It's like a khaki type of color. Not that into it, but I mean, it's a nice one from her. I wouldn't say it's like the biggest standout from her line. I think the quality was good. I did get a decent amount of use out of this one, but I just don't reach for it really as much as the other palettes that I have from her, and it just doesn't like grasp my attention as much as the other ones do, so I'm gonna declutter. Okay, and then I finally have the Natasha Denona Dream palette. I really, really love these colors. It actually reminds me of when I was really sick with my son. So it doesn't give me the bestest memories, let me tell you, but hopefully I'll be able to make new memories with this one. I haven't played with this as much as I would love though, because it's just been in the back of the drawer and I'll be honest, I forgot about it. But I'm excited to kind of bust this out. I also love that it has a blackest black shade. I love black eyeshadow. I think I do a lot with black shadow in general. The gold works really well with the other shades in here, and I love these like warmish / like peachier tones. I think they complement my eyes really nicely. Plus you get like the deeper shades too, which I'm about. Like the deep brown. This is just such a good one, so I'm keeping. All right, next I have these two little ones by ColourPop. I think I'm gonna keep this little guy because he's so cute. I'm gonna get my son a shirt with this little guy on it because he looks like my baby. So cute. Anyway, here is what the palette looks like. Great colors. I love this one a ton. I do use it quite often, I would say, so I'm keeping this. This one though, I am gonna declutter. I know it's kind of like from the same Mandalorian line, but it doesn't have the cutie on it, so I don't mind getting rid of it. And also, the colors are nice, but I mean, I have a lot of these type of shades with the Natasha Denona palettes, and I just don't really bust this out as much as I would like. This is a great color though, like the yellow, but I have that in the Melt palette, and then this brown is a really, really good brown, but I have other browns too, so good one. But I think I'm okay parting ways with this. We're almost done here. I actually counted. I got rid of 23 so far, and I'm keeping 23, which is like, how is it even? Like, it's just so crazy because I did not count till now, and it's like, well. Anyways, next I have the Lizzie McGuire palette by ColourPop. This is such a cute collaboration. I was a massive Lizzie McGuire fan in 7th grade, obsessed. So I did pick this up because of that. I'm kind of in the middle with this one because I really don't, also with this one, I don't use it way too much, but I am a Lizzie McGuire fan, and I feel like this might be something that I would just want to have and keep in my collection and even give over to my kids, you know what I'm saying? Like that type. So I think I'm gonna keep it, and I guess, use it, hopefully. Give it a little bit more love, so I'll keep that. I also have my palette with Ofra Cosmetics. Obviously keeping, this is actually my second one. I had one that was like pretty much almost done, most of the shades, and it was beat up, so I opened up a new one somewhat recently. Love this, obviously, it's still available. So I'm gonna keep that. I also have this palette by Ofra, and I'm keeping this too. It's such a good one. Like, I'm obsessed, especially when like the fall months like hit. This is so beautiful. This color and this one just kind of screams like pumpkin to me. You get beautiful metallic shades too, bronzer, blush, highlighter. It's such a solid palette. Like, I've done many declutters in the past, and this one just always stays in my collection because it's so pretty, and also this green makes it for me. So keeping this one. This is specifically called Good to Go. All right, I also have these two palettes here by Makeup Revolution. This is the Ultimate Nudes Light. Great one. I love this for a good drugstore palette. It's amazing. Keeping it. I don't think I'm doing too well. And then this is a newer one that I recently purchased along with the other Makeup Revolution palette. I still haven't had a chance to use it. I liked it for the green, but I think I'm gonna declutter it. I don't know. I feel like I thought it was prettier when I saw it online, but then when I got it in person, I'm like, not that OMG. So declutter that. I have the Urban Decay Original palette. This I probably would never ever get rid of. I don't even use it. I just keep it because of memories. I purchased this, I want to say, well over 10 years ago. This was my first high-end eyeshadow palette. It's just so crazy to me because it's always going to hit home. I remember I saved babysitting money to purchase this. I did so much research. I watched millions of tutorials, and I felt like it was for me. It holds a special place in my heart, so I'm gonna keep this for memories. This is also one that just holds a special place in my heart. It's like the thicker packaging, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This was my second high-end palette. I remember I purchased this, I think I was like 22 maybe, so a long time ago. I haven't used it in ages, but I'm also keeping it for the memory. Then I have this palette by ABH. I do really like this one. I'll be honest with you guys. It's a solid one. It's such excellent quality. The mattes are super smooth. The metallics are great. This is like a very like powdery blush, but it still works out nicely. And then this, I feel like is a little bit too deep for my skin tone, but I use it for eyeshadow and it's yum. Like, this palette is so good. Like, I'm like, oh, should I get rid of it? Should I not? It's good stuff. So I'm gonna have to keep this one. I keep it too. I have this palette here by Ofra. This is in Sweet Dreams, which I think at this point I'm ready to declutter this one. I know I have the Melt palette that has like similar tones to these. Remember the other one that I told you I use those 5 shades? Like, it's literally pretty much this. This is a great one from Ofra though. You can get gorgeous looks with this, but I have that one, so I think we're good. I will say goodbye to that. I also have these little guys by e.l.f. So this one I love. It kind of reminds me of like that Tinkerbell palette by Colourpop. It's very good though. I have to keep it. If you want like even more of a cheaper alternative, if you don't want to get the Tinkerbell one or you can't find it, this jalapeno one is fantastic. Such an excellent color story. Have to use that more. This one I also really, really love. These tones are really just perfect for me. Pumpkin Pie, perfect for the upcoming fall months. Such a good one and smooth, like, I love it. This, I'll be honest, I don't use as much. Well, 2 shades out of the 4 I use. This is in Cream and Sugar. So like, I do use these 2 shades a lot. I love those, and these I don't use as much. So, but it's okay. I'm okay decluttering it because I feel like I have the other one. It's not similar, but like it'll do. Oh, and I have another one here. Ooh, this is so good. This is such a good one. Very Bad. I love these kind of colors, so keeping it. It's just, these are good palettes. Like, just, you want to keep them. I also have these from the e.l.f. and Dunkin' collection. I kept them because it's like e.l.f. and Dunkin' and like, but I think I'm ready to part ways with these. Unfortunately, these pretty much fell short. I did a tutorial using the full collection and I love the look I came up with, but I feel like since that video, I might have used these maybe once or twice more, and it's kind of like, what's up, This one was, I would say, the worst of the 3, so decluttering that. And then these two, Like they were just like this shade here sucked, for example, and then these two were okay. Then this shade was good. The blue was decent. I think I just don't want to feel like I'm gonna be sorry. Do you know what I mean? Woo! Yeah, okay, fine. I'm gonna get rid of it. I just kind of poked my finger in there. Yeah, it's a little bit chalky too. Declutter that, and then this one. Ugh, are we keeping it? I'm gonna keep this one. Okay, I just kind of want to. Even though that blue is not the best, but this brown is actually very pretty. So, keeping it. Okay, we also have the Physicians Formula. I feel like I did really well in the beginning and now I'm just like, it sucks, like my declutter. This is a great Physicians Formula palette. Also with this, have not used it in a while, in a very long time, but they are so insanely smooth and soft. They have a similar texture to the like ColourPop Super Shock shadows. It's just delicious and there's just no way I could get rid of it. It's perfect and it's so small. This with the other palette, with the mattes almost, they could go well together. This I'm gonna declutter. It's by Essence. It's Coral Me Maybe. Call Me Maybe. Yeah, I think it's just okay. I'll be honest, I prefer the e.l.f. bite-size palettes over this one. The mattes are actually okay compared to the metallics in here. They just don't really pack a punch and they're just decent. So it's okay for like a $3-4 palette, but if I had to choose, I'll just go with the e.l.f. and I already have these shades a few times over, I think, with the ones I kept. I have 3 Tom Ford palettes here. Let me show you guys. So this is the Honeymoon one. There's one that the shade like falls out. Yeah. Ooh, look at this. Like, what is this? I'm so disappointed because I spent so much money on this and like, what is going on here? Ugh, annoying. Don't break on me. Yeah, anyway, that's what you get for spending 80 bucks on a palette. No words. Anyway, so this is in Honeymoon. Beautiful. I just want to see what the other ones look like. This one, does this also do it? Yeah, one of the shades. What's up? Like, what is up? It's just a huge turn off. Okay, that one is in Body Heat. And then I have this one. Oh, I love this one. This is in Suspicion? Yeah. I don't think this one. No, okay, this one, we're in the clear. This is gorgeous. It's so pretty. It looks so rich on the eye, so I'm keeping this. I think I'm gonna declutter Body Heat. I just don't really use it as much, and one of the shades kind of fall out, so I'll probably have to glue it or something. Help a girl out, let me know what you have to do with that. But I'm decluttering. It'll probably be a Poshmark though. And then this one is in Honeymoon. And it's so pretty. I do like it, but it annoys me that the shadows fall out. So fine, I'm gonna keep this too. Ugh. Okay, I have 2 more palettes left. I hope I got rid of more than I kept. This is my first palette with Ofra Cosmetics. I don't really use it as much anymore. It was limited edition, but it's always gonna be like my #1 baby. It came out, I think, how many years already? Like 3-4 years ago, around this time, which is so crazy. I loved this. I wish they could bring it back, but unfortunately they can't. They just pair so well together. So keeping that for memories. And then I have the Naked Wild West, which I was gonna keep, but I'll be honest, I think I'm just gonna get rid of it. I did like it. I think actually it's a pretty good palette, but there's other palettes that I found more love for since this came out. But it's still a pretty good one, and hopefully somebody else will enjoy. But yeah, there's that. So I'm gonna wipe up the drawer now. All right, then we have my piles. So this one right here, this is the pile I am keeping. And then we have this pile, which I am decluttering. I think I'm keeping a few more than I'm decluttering, but let's count. 30, 31, I'm decluttering. And for the keep pile, we got 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. What? Okay, I'm gonna get rid of a few more. So I think I'm gonna declutter this by Natasha Denona. I do like this palette, but I feel like I have similar tones in these palettes. And then, like I said, the face shades, they work well, but nothing to write home about. Here's what this one looks like, so declutter. Okay, so I opened up most of the palettes. These are the ones that I'm getting rid of. There's 32. Oh, one of the nails fell off. And then I'm gonna declutter these 3 as well. So this I feel like I could use the Natasha Denona palette and kind of get a similar look, you know, and then pop in other pinks if I really, really want to. I'm gonna declutter this one, even though it is really nice and soft. I'd rather keep the more metallic-y one. And then I will end up decluttering this by Tom Ford. What is this? Honeymoon, yeah. Kind of sucks that the shades are like that. But yeah, I'll say goodbye to that one. 3 more, we got 35. And then here are the ones that I'm keeping. I'll be honest, there's like 5 that I'm just keeping just for memory's sake. So it feels like I'm kind of keeping less, but let's count. 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Yay! So basically I got rid of 1 more, but I definitely, yeah, I got rid of 1 more than half of my collection. Now let's situate this in the drawer. So here is what the drawer looks like now. It seems like it's still a decent amount, but I feel like it's just, what is it, like 35, 34 palettes that I feel like I'm really gonna get tons of use out of. I have some extra space here. If there's a palette that I do wanna pick up, you know, it's not like smushed in the drawer. I could see what I have and I can actually like use everything, you know? And then again, here are the ones that I am decluttering. I will post, I think probably all of these or most of these on Poshmark. It'll be linked down below, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, and I'll see you all in my next one.